Have you ever been filled with that slow burning poison of resentment? That constant simmering feeling that someone else owes you an apology, a change in behavior, or justice for an old slight? Resentment is one of the heaviest chains we forge for ourselves, yet we often feel utterly justified in carrying it. It is the persistent conviction that if only the other person were different, or if only the past were undone, we could finally find peace. But what if I told you that the key to unlocking yourself from resentment has nothing to do with the person you resent? What if the answer is found in the simple ancient wisdom of a boat floating empty on a lake? Today we explore the profound Zen lesson of the empty boat Zen, a parable that is deceptively simple, but holds the master key to understanding how to stop resentment and achieve instant emotional freedom. By the end of this journey, you will possess a mental strategy that dissolves anger and frustration the moment they arise, not by fighting them, but by understanding their true empty nature. Before we dive into the story, let us first understand the true nature of resentment. What is the fundamental mechanism that keeps this toxic emotion alive? Resentment is sustained anger towards a perceived injustice. It is chronic and highly personalized. Philosophically, resentment thrives on the belief in two things: the inherent maliciousness of the other person and the righteousness of your own suffering. You must believe they chose to hurt you, and you must believe your pain gives you a moral right to stay angry. The Zen perspective is radically different. Resentment is merely noise generated by an expectation bumping against reality. When reality fails to meet your expectation, your mind creates a story of malice and intent to justify the resulting pain. This storytelling is the fuel that keeps resentment burning. Our goal is to expose this noise for what it is: simply empty air. The story of the empty boat is attributed to various Zen masters throughout history, but its lesson remains universal and crystal clear. Imagine a man named Kenji. Kenji was not a monk, but a solitary fisherman known for his quick temper and his deep pride in his small wooden fishing boat. Kenji loved the quiet solitude of the lake. He would spend his days fishing and meditating, enjoying the perfect stillness of the early mornings. One particularly calm morning, Kenji was meditating with his eyes closed in the middle of the lake. The silence was absolute. Suddenly he felt a sharp jolt. Another boat had crashed hard into the side of his. The impact was strong enough to shake him and interrupt his perfect stillness. His fishing equipment rattled and his small boat rocked dangerously. Immediately, Kenji's blood boiled. His perfect morning was ruined, his boat was damaged, and his meditation was shattered. His face flushed with rage. He leaped up, preparing to scream a torrent of abuse at the reckless, selfish, ignorant fool who had dared to invade his sacred solitude. He was ready to unleash the full force of his accumulated resentment and frustration. He flung his eyes open, ready to meet his enemy. But when he looked, there was no one there. The boat that had struck his was completely empty. It had simply come unmoored from the shore and was drifting aimlessly, guided only by the gentle currents and the slight morning breeze. There was no one inside, no careless person, no arrogant fool, no enemy to blame. The boat was empty. Kenji stood rigid, his mouth open, his body tensed for attack, but there was no target. His immense rage suddenly collapsed. There was simply nowhere for the resentment to land. Without a person to blame, the feeling of anger instantly dissolved. He could not stay angry at an empty boat. He could only laugh at his own foolish reaction. He took a deep breath, tied the empty boat to his, and sat back down to repair the small damage, his mind suddenly as clear and tranquil as the morning lake itself. The lesson of the empty boat became the master key to his own peace for the rest of his life. Now we move from the story to the practical solution. The Zen wisdom of the empty boat provides a radical new answer to how to stop resentment by fundamentally altering our perspective on external events. The first lesson is resentment requires intent. Kenji's anger was dependent on the belief that someone chose to hit his boat. His rage was fueled by perceived malicious intent. The moment he realized the boat was empty, his anger vanished. Why? Because you cannot feel resentment towards an inanimate object or an unconscious process. You cannot stay angry at the rain, the wind, or an empty drifting boat. This realization is the key to dissolving most resentment. When someone behaves badly, when they disappoint you, or when they hurt your feelings, ask yourself, is their action the result of malicious intent, or are they simply an empty boat? The truth is that most people who hurt us are empty boats driven by the currents of their own unmanaged pain, their stress, their ignorance, or their fear. They are not intentionally steering their boat to hit yours. They are simply adrift. When you recognize that their action is a result of their own inner chaos, not an intentional attack on you, the need for resentment dissolves. You stop looking for the person inside the boat to blame. The second lesson is the empty boat principle. The core teaching of the empty boat is that you must treat every perceived slight or offense as if the boat were empty. Even when you know there is a person inside, even when they are yelling at you, your internal practice must be the same. The Zen master teaches us that the only reason we suffer from the actions of others is because we are so busy personalizing the offense. We take their action, their anger, their criticism, and tie it directly to our identity. This makes their action heavy and painful. When you practice the empty boat principle, you detach the action from the person and the person from your internal world. You see their hurtful action as noise from a boat that is being tossed by its own inner storm. If you can fully detach the action, the resentment instantly loses its fuel because there is no personal target for your anger. This is the essence of empty boat Zen. Practical application. When a colleague is rude or a driver cuts you off, silently label them empty boat. This simple mental act is a massive psychological buffer that reminds you that their action is not about you, it is about the boat. You cannot be angry at the boat. The third lesson is finding the true target. If you cannot be angry at an empty boat, who are you really angry at? You were angry at the disruption, the shattered expectation, the loss of your peace. You were angry at the fact that reality did not conform to your internal desire for stillness and perfection. The Zen lesson is that true resentment is always aimed at reality itself for not being perfect. When you direct your anger at a person, you are simply deflecting the pain of acceptance. The person is just a convenient hook. To truly stop resentment, you must fully accept the imperfection of life. People will be careless, accidents will happen, boats will drift, and your plans will be disrupted. When you accept the inevitability of the first arrow of pain, you stop firing the second arrow of mental resistance and resentment. Acceptance empties the need for blame. So what is the ultimate takeaway from the Zen lesson of the empty boat? Remember this, your peace is not dependent on the caution of other captains. Your peace is dependent only on your internal decision to stop looking for a person inside every boat that bumps into yours. Stop resentment by treating every external offense as an impersonal accident. The moment you remove the personal malicious intent, the need for vengeance, and the pain of the grudge simply vanishes. This wisdom is your tool to achieve unbreakable inner calm. I ask you to practice one thing this week. The next time you feel the smallest surge of frustration or anger towards someone who has inconvenienced you, pause and visualize that person as a beautifully crafted boat drifting aimlessly on the water. Say to yourself, empty boat, no one is steering. Then allow your anger to dissolve. This simple practice will show you how to stop resentment forever. What is the biggest source of resentment you feel, and how can you apply the empty boat principle to it right now? Share your practice and your thoughts in the comments below. We read every comment, and we walk this path to freedom together. Thank you for watching.